everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be starting something that I'm really excited about starting because I need to prove to myself that I still like reading, because I'm questioning it immensely right now because I just finished the Everand vlog and I just finished reading all of my September and October book box books, and I legitimately feel like I am somewhat going crazy. So I need to do mood reading. I need to go back to mood reading, which is going to be really hard to retrain my brain back to doing that, because if you guys don't know, I originally was a mood reader, but with booktube comes responsibilities that you have to kind of schedule things when you do videos, etc. So I have kind of trained my brain to not be into mood reading as much as it used to be, which I think potentially is part of the problem. I think 2026 we should bring back mood reading. That's what I think we should do on this channel. Like, obviously we're still going to do our regular videos, but I definitely think I'm going to give myself time in between books to mood read and see if I can retrain my brain back to mood reading. So technically, actually, while we're doing this mood reading vlog, I am working on the Fairy Loot Purge. Very exciting. And we have some other videos that we're doing, but I kind of have put those on the back burner, like, to get to them eventually, because I will be working on reading all of my November and December book boxes. That's going to be one video together, but I need a brain break. That's like where we're at. I need a break. It's been a really rough reading year already, which is insane since it's January and it's January 20th. The month hasn't even finished yet. So I just need a break. So I think I'm going to mood read for however long I want to. I don't know how long this is gonna last. Other vlogs could be started and finished while I'm doing this one. I don't know. I now have a new phone that has insane amounts of storage, so this could go on for forever. I don't know. This could be multiple months. I'm gonna laugh when this is like a week. That's what happens. But this is definitely not going up until later in February probably, so I'm probably gonna mood read for like a month, and again, in between, do other things. But I kind of just want this to be a positive video. Like, I am really upset that my first couple of videos of January were so negative. I was really hoping we were going to start off on a really good foot. Like, it was going to be so much fun. We're going to have a great time reading all these books, and it has turned into a disaster. So I think I just need some positive reading experience. Like, I'm really lucky. I have had 2 5-stars already. We had Elantris and Your Favorite Scary Movie, but I was hoping for a lot more. I was hoping for a lot more, just 4 stars in general. Like, where are those? What's going on with all these DNFs? So I'm trying to find some 5 stars, even 4 stars. I'm just trying to have a good time. So this is primarily, hopefully, gonna just be a positive vlog. Like, I'm gonna tell you when I am not liking something and putting it down, but I'm not going to force myself to finish anything in here. I'm going to talk about some of the things that we're reading right now, because we are reading specifically one thing for this video, and that is there is no antimemetics division. Amazing. Amazing. I think I'm at page 100, maybe 117 actually, and I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the thing, and I'm really excited. It fits perfectly. Like, it's so good. Ignore that last one. But everything else fits really well. So I'm really excited about that. The tabs look really cute. I originally had like a tabbing system, and then my brain was like, why? Just tab it. Just make it pretty. Just make it pretty. Just vibe with it. So that's what I'm doing. These tabs mean nothing. I'm just putting a tab down when something happens that I'm like, oh, excited about. Just random tabs. And I'm having a great time. This is so much fun. So this is following, how do you even talk about this book? This is, if you loved We Used to Live Here or House of Leaves or anything like that, this is going to be for you. So this is following our main character, Quinn. I would say it is following Quinn, but it is kind of short stories, but not short stories. Like, it's not short stories, but it feels that way. But you're following the same character in like daily life kind of situation. So every chapter is like a different situation that she's having to deal with, like a different crisis. So it's really cool, but it still works as a singular story, singular timeline kind of thing. So Quinn, our main character, works at the antimemetics division, which no one knows exists because it is a memory eating division. She has to take special medication to remember who she is, remember where she works, all this type of stuff. And there's insane things happening, unknowns, there's creatures and ideas and all these different types of things that eat your memory or eat yourself as a person and like feed off of you, and or just like exist in time and space doing weird things. And it's so cool. And there is an overarching plot. So as we've gotten further into this book, that overarching plot is taking over. It's very Supernatural. If you've seen Supernatural, you know how Supernatural every episode is like a different job. So it's almost like short stories kind of. This similar idea, but then there's like an overarching thing once you get past like the halfway normally in a season. Like season 1 every episode is a different job, but then they're fighting the yellow-eyed demon the whole season. So this is a very similar vibe. Every chapter is a different hunt or unknown, but there is an overarching thing that is happening that they're working against. Amazing. Amazing. This is one of the coolest, most interesting books I've read probably since like 2024, probably since we used to live here. So early last year. Was it last year? No. When was We Used to Live Here come out? Was that last year or the year before? 2025 felt like it lasted forever. Legitimately felt like it. I lived 1,000 lifetimes in 2025. So much stuff happened in 2025. So basically, last time I read something this interesting, this cool, was We Used to Live Here. And honestly, before that, I don't know. I have not been this enraptured by a book so quickly, ever. Like, literally ever. I think the first line is literally immediately, so like it even has like redacted stuff in here. And the very first thing is like a case study, and it talks about containment protocols for this unknown and what's going on and what it does, but actually like you don't actually know what it does because it eats memories of what it does. And it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So I'm having a great time. I will finish this relatively soon. I'm taking my time with it. I'm enjoying my time with it. And then the other thing, I am reading The Stardust Thief right now for the Fairy Loot Purge. And then what else am I I'm like just kind of skimming around on my Kindle, like what I have. I have picked up Nocticadia. I do have a physical copy of that. I'm unsure if I want to read that. It does seem like it's gonna be trash, which is fun. I say when I call something trash, it's in like the most loving way. I am a huge Vanderpump Rules, The Valley, Below Deck. I love TV trash. So when I say a book is trash, I mean it in like a yes, that's fantastic. If I say a book is garbage, it's garbage. Trash is different. So Nocticadia does seem like it could be like book trash. And I'm like, might want to read that because sometimes your brain needs that little trashy reset. Because if I'm having a bad day, I'm watching reality TV. So that is also an option. I also really, really want to start Mistborn because I had such a good time with Elantris, but I'm a little nervous because Elantris I had the graphic audios, but the graphic audios for Mistborn and those three are not available like on Audible or Libro or anything like that. It's just from graphic audio, and I did listen to a clip and I didn't like how they sounded. So I think I'm gonna physically read this or look at the other audio, just the plain audio, but we'll see. So I'm a little nervous about that, but we're gonna try reading this, and I would like to get to this. This is on my 26th of 2026. And I also got this really cute bookmark. Look at it. It's so adorable. It does pop out of the book a little bit, but that's fine. It's like embroidered. I'm obsessed with it. Emotionally attached to fictional characters. Ever since I bought this, like I think I got this in Barnes & Noble, I have been seeing that statement everywhere. Like on t-shirts, on bags, on Kindle cases. I've seen it everywhere. I'm loving it. I'm loving that little merch. So I do have this little bookmark. What else have I been reading? Again, this is a mood reading vlog, so it's going to be very stream of consciousness. So I would just fast forward sometimes through it. I do need to start Vicious, but that's for something else. Oh, I did start One Dark Window, but again, that's for another video. So it's just a lot of stuff for videos, which is what I'm trying to get away with for this video. So there's no antimemetics department, potentially Nocticadia, potentially Mistborn. But again, it's going to change as we go on. You may never see any of these books ever again in this video. You're most likely going to see the antimemetics, but you may never see a Nocticadia or Mistborn again in this video. I don't know. It just depends where my brain goes, because I kind of want to read some of my Allurial books. That sounds kind of good. So those could be an optional choice. I'm also looking kind of behind me if I see anything. Half a Soul could maybe be fun. Yeah, that's just how this is going to work. B-roll, random chaos of me choosing books and updating you on things that are going on. That being said, we're probably going to go read some antimemetics. I do need to finish some editing. I'm finishing editing the September-October video. So that's kind of the goal today. I am catching up on The Valley. I'm behind a whole season. And it's funny because they're trying so hard to incorporate Sheena and Tom Schwartz onto the show. It's just a spinoff of Vanderpump Rules, and Sheena and Tom Schwartz are on Vanderpump. Well, we're on Vanderpump Rules before it switched cast. And so it seems like they're trying to bring some people over from Vanderpump to make The Valley to bring in more Vanderpump Rules fans over to The Valley. And it's drama. Like, this show is, like, all these people hate each other. Like, I don't know how they still have a show. I don't know how they're gonna have a season 3. They all hate each other. Like, legitimately hate each other. Like, a lot of stuff you can tell is, like, faked and stuff, but there's, like, multiple divorcing couples who despise each other. So, that's a thing. But anyway, I'm also waiting for 2 packages. One of my broken bindings is coming today, which I'm really excited about. And then something else is coming. I don't know what it is. I also got an email from like my NetGalley email. I'm so confused because I'm getting a physical copy of JD Robb's new book from the publisher, I guess. Unless it was like sent to the wrong person, but it was like, thanks for your interest and your request. And I was like, I didn't request this. I don't think I requested a JD Robb. I don't read JD Robb, and it's like number 68 in the series. So that might have been like a clerical mistake or something, because I'm like, I don't think I requested this from the St. Martin's thing, because I think it's St. Martin's or one of those that has the book, and I have and I'm part of the influencer program that I get PR from. But yeah, I got that email and I was like, huh. Okay, whatever. But anyway, that aside, again, it's gonna be a little rambly video. That aside, I'm gonna probably go do editing and watch the Valley and just kind of hang out, see what the packages are, and I will update you when I feel like it. We have finished our first book. Actually, we finished it a couple of days ago. I just like didn't know how to talk about it. But we have finished and actually I'm glad I waited, because now I do know what my next book is gonna be for this video. And so we did finish There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, and I'm bummed because I was really thinking this was gonna be a 5-star. The first 70% of this book, or 60 to 70%, was a 5-star, but I'm giving it a 4-star. It did get too weird at the end. There were like sections at the end though that I loved that were still 5 stars. But there were also sections that went way over my head. Like, there's a thing about cosmic horror, because this is definitely cosmic horror. I thought this was sci-fi. This is a horror book. This is definitely cosmic horror with a subgenre of sci-fi. I mean, cosmic horror basically is like sci-fi horror, right? So anyway, cosmic horror can get really weird. So The Dead Take the A Train is a really good example. That most of that book, again, was a 5-star. However, it becomes so conceptual and like highbrow at the end of the book that you kind of lose track of what's happening, and you kind of are like, I don't understand anything that is happening at the end of this book. This is kind of what happened. Like, there's a whole ass chapter that I was like, what is happening? What is happening? And this book ramped up really fast. So I kind of wish this book actually was longer. Like, I actually think I would have preferred this book if it was like 500 pages. I can see why it was so short, but I think if there was a longer middle section where it drew this out longer, I would have loved that. I really wanted more chapters of, like, they call it Monster of the Week. I wanted more of those chapters because there were quite a few of them at the beginning, but those definitely kind of lowered as the book went on, as it was dealing with the broad cosmic horror thing that was happening. So I did want more Monster of the Week chapters. I would love a sequel to this, because I think you can do so much in this world. Not even a sequel, just like other books in this world, because there is so much you can do in this world. And there's some things that I want to know, like what happened, because it's not exactly a cliffhanger, but there are some like unknown fates kind of situation, and there are some really weird things that happen that you don't really get any closure or anything with. I would like another book in this series to like kind of give us a little bit of closure for what was going on. But pretty much whole book was a 5-star until it got super conceptual. I'm not a weird conceptual horror girl, so for me it did get a little too confusing at the end, but I would still recommend this to everybody. It's gonna get weird at the end. It's gonna get weird, but there was some really good payoff at the end. This is also not a happy book. It's not. There's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of mayhem, there's a lot of death in this book. So if you only like happy books or happily ever after books, this is not the book for you. Like, no. No. It's generally, again, very much like cosmic horror, where everything is bad and terrible, and we're trying to make it less bad, less terrible. So it's still a 4-star. It's probably going to go in honorable mentions for favorites, because this almost was a favorite. This was so close to a 5-star. This is the closest to a 5-star, but I don't even want to give it 4.5, because I really did have some problems at the end of this one. It is a solid 4. Probably still will go in honorable mentions, because everything besides that ending was a 5-star. So that being said, we are going to move on to something really exciting. So if you watched my Did I Actually Dislike This Book video that came out probably a week before this one, I'm not exactly sure exactly when it came out, but I read One Dark Window for that video, gave it a 4.5. Such a good time. I'm gonna read Two Twisted Crowns. I'm reading Two Twisted Crowns next, and I'm probably gonna read the sequel to On Wings of Blood, which is what? On Wings That Burn? I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the second book is called, but book 2 of On Wings of Blood, I will probably also be reading in this video, but I am dying to read Two Twisted Crowns to see what happens. And I'm so happy I had such a good reading experience with that book that I'm like dying to read the sequel. That's so exciting. And I've had One Dark Window on my like series tracker for like the longest time, so it'll also be really cool to knock that off because it's been a while since I read the first book and then just didn't do anything with the next book. So we're gonna read Two Twisted Crowns. It is just the follow-up of One Dark Window. It is following, I've been told it is following 2 different characters, but we're still like following the plot from the first book, just from 2 different perspectives than the first book was. But I don't know, I haven't read it. I don't know if that is 100% what it is. So we're gonna go read that. I'll probably update you within the first 50%. I'm really hoping I vibe with it as much as I did with One Dark Window. I am reading Two Twisted Crowns. I am about 30% in, and I'm having mixed feelings about it. And it's mostly because I'm loving the plot, but I'm not liking Elm's perspective as much as I thought I would. And I think it's mostly because his chapters are weirdly repetitively sexual in his like thoughts towards Ione. And I'm just like not interested in that. So like I'm liking Elspeth's chapters, I'm loving Raven's chapters, and I'm liking the sections of Elm's chapters that are focused on the actual plot, not focused on Ione. Well, I'm cool with them focused on Ione, like his interest in her and trying to help her and stuff, but I'm not liking when his thoughts like immediately have gone sexual. Like I thought that was kind of weird. That's definitely not the vibe of the first book. So I'm definitely missing Elspeth's perspective, which I wasn't expecting. I'm kind of sad we're not getting Ione's perspective. That's kind of what I was expecting based on what kind of how people were talking about this book. They were saying, oh, it's an Elm Ione book. So that's kind of what I was expecting, but it's not. It's an Elm book with Raven and Elspeth still kind of like there, like because Raven's chapters are shorter, but it's still a major like point of the plot, and we're still getting Elspeth's perspective as well. So it's definitely not as disconnected from the first book as I thought it was, again based on how people were talking about it. But I'm not loving sections of Elm's chapters. So this one, I can't really say anything about it other than it's following Dark Window, and it did add a perspective in Elm, who was a character in the first book, and they were just continuing what they were trying to do in the first one, and it's added a bit of a mystery for other characters. And so yet again, I love the plot, but the weakest part is the relationship again. So at least I'm like understanding the plot and I'm enjoying the plot. So I'm still very much enjoying it. I just, every time he gets like weirdly sexual about her, like he looks at her boobs a lot, like a lot. And anytime like that's brought up, it does take me out of the story a little bit. So I am reading that. I'm going to continue reading that, but I am also reading Oxford Blood. I'm actually listening to this one. I'm about 25% in. I haven't marked where I am with here, but I did get this as an ARC. I was really excited to read this one, but I'm getting a little bit nervous that I'm not enjoying young adult mystery thriller as much as I used to. And I don't know if it's just because I don't enjoy mystery thrillers as much as I used to, or it's the young adult aspect of it, because what I'm not liking about this book is our main character and her like reactions to things. So this is following our main character, what is her name? Eva. And she has gotten into this like early program thing. Like she's about to do a bunch of interviews at Oxford, and she has gone with her kind of boyfriend, and they're going to be like interviewing for the same college together, and it's like this other big group of people, and there's some drama with like elite kids from other like big schools that are kind of more prepared, or more like they're more used to this atmosphere, so they have a leg up on the other kids from different schools. And so it's kind of all about that at the beginning, but there is a thing that happens and it sparks a murder investigation, and she is very much involved in it because of someone she knows. I actually would recommend not reading the synopsis of this one, because the synopsis gives away who was murdered, and it happens very early. Like it happened within the first like 15% probably. Actually, no, I think it just happened. So about 20% is when it happens. But I think if I didn't know, like I think it is hinted at pretty much. Like it's not a secret, it's in the synopsis. But I think it would have been more impactful and more interesting if I actually didn't know that was going to happen. And I think it would have been more interesting. So if you are interested in Oxford Blood, I would not read the synopsis. Just know it's like a dark academia, younger students going to Oxford to interview, and there's some politics going on in the background and a murder mystery that happens. So I am going to continue this one because I did get a physical arc of it, so I feel a little bit obligated to finish reading this. I don't know if it potentially would have been a DNF, but I'm interested enough to know why the things happened. So I think I'm just going to continue it and play like some games on my phone and kind of stuff like that, because sometimes I just like to listen to a little bit of a mindless kind of read where I don't have to focus too hard on remembering like a lot of people and fantasy stuff, etc. Because sometimes it's nice just listening to an audiobook and not having to worry about anything. So we are going to continue Oxford Blood. We are going to continue Two Twisted Crowns, but also I kind of want to read The Bond That Burns. I don't remember. Whatever the second book is, the On Wings of Blood series. I think I want to read that as well. So I have finished Oxford Blood. It is the same night. I took a shower, did all the normal things, and I ended up, instead of watching Knives Out, I ended up just finishing it. I just ended up listening to this the rest of the night. And you know what? This is another lesson in if I want to DNF something, I probably should. And then if I really wanted to get back to it, it could have gone in the did I really not like this series. But if I want to DNF something, I should just DNF it, because generally I'm on the correct track. It's rare. Like the thing about the did I really not like this series is I'm very specific. Like I'm picking very specific things. Like generally, most things I'm very happy that I DNF'd. I have no regrets about it. For that series, it is very specific things that I've had second thoughts about, but I DNF so many things. There are so many books that are not going to be included in that series. And this was definitely an example of I should have just kept it as a DNF. So I am going to give this gosh, how do I rate this? How do I rate this? The writing was really good. That's why I'm struggling. I always struggle to rate something that I didn't enjoy, but the writing and the storytelling was actually really, really good, and the pacing was really good in this. So I'm gonna do a 2.5. A 2.5 because that leans towards the negative, but still more on the neutral side. But yeah, I am going to talk about spoilers, like minor spoilers, but I kind of have to talk about them to talk about what I didn't like about this book. And it's something that I don't like in most books, and it's why sometimes I do struggle with mystery thrillers at times. So we're going to go over that. But first, general thoughts. Like I said, the writing was really good. The pacing was really good. There was never like really a dull moment. I liked the texts that were put in here. I liked some of the side characters. I do think the side characters were a little bit weak just because they didn't have like a ton of personality. I think Xander was actually a really strong side character, which I really liked. I thought Lily was a very weak side character, and we potentially actually could have done more with her. I think the biggest downfall of this book was, though, our main characters given point in this book. Like the author gave this character a drive in this book, and I'm never gonna super love it in a book. So the whole point of this book is that our main character is trying to find out what happened to this white, wealthy boy. And I think that's a major drawback of this book, because I do think her identity was very strong at the beginning of the book. I love how the book opened up talking about universities and the privilege on universities and who's invited to do these interviews, like these very exclusive interviews, especially at these very highfalutin schools. It's a very bloodline situation. You gotta know somebody to know somebody. Like if you know the right people, you're gonna do better at these schools. And it opened up with talking about how there was a statue on campus, like dead set in the middle of campus, of a very wealthy person who is involved in Oxford. I don't know if any of this is accurate or true or whatever, or was made up for the storyline. So I don't know anything about, I honestly don't know anything about Oxford, but the statue was a slave owner, and it is basically has been kept there because the family of said slave owner donates shit tons of money to the school. And that is a thing. That is a thing. There are buildings named after people like that at many different universities. I mean, cities still have statues up. So there are protests at the beginning. So it opened up with that being like a huge major plot point of this book. And it turns out that the person murdered is related to that person, and she spends the entire book trying to figure out what happened, and it becomes her whole personality. Like that's like everything she is. And even if you take race out of it, I'm never gonna love when a female character risks everything and literally throws away everything about themselves, including their dreams, to protect a man doing the bare minimum. I think that's what kills me, is this ends with that character, like this character had written a note saying, I want the statue taken down. If I come to the school, the first thing I do is I'm gonna make sure we vote to take the school down because I am a family member. And it's like, we're supposed to get really emotional, I think, about that, but it's like, this is the bare minimum. Like, this is bare minimum things. Like, this is, you should want that. Like, this shouldn't be applauded. It should be expected. And I think that's what killed me most of the book, because the other thing is I guess this isn't like big spoilers because I'm keeping names out of it. I'm trying to like do no names. There is a point, there is a whole essay storyline in here that I don't think was done very well, actually, at all. And we spend a large chunk towards the end talking about how this person who has essayed many women, like many women, many women. It is multiple times it was talked about how many women this person has sexually assaulted. And she goes on and on about how this person does not deserve to die, risks her own life to save this person. And I'm like, when are we going to stop making women apologize for men? Like, when are we going to do that? Like, when are we going to do that? So I was really bothered by that aspect of this book. Like, I was rooting for this guy's downfall. I'm not going to lie. I would not have been hurt whatsoever if he had died. I really wouldn't have. So I just don't understand what this book was trying to say, because I feel like it came out really strong talking about women's rights. And oh yeah, we talked about this police officer that is a female police officer, and she worked really hard, and then that female police officer turned out to be an asshole and completely incompetent. So what are you saying about women in the police force? Because her dad, oh god, don't get me started on that, because her dad is a male police officer who is literally the smartest person on the planet and is like threatening to take away this woman's job. And it's like, so what are we saying? What are we saying? And then, like I said, don't get me started on her ignoring her privilege of having a police officer as a father. Because she straight up says, I don't have any privilege of having a father as a police officer, while at the same time he marches into the building and is able to just drag her out of interviews left and right. And it's like, are you not seeing that? Are you not seeing that? Because then, yeah, they back off because he's like, I'm better than you. I know your bosses and I can get you fired because I'm this officer and stuff like that. And it's like, but you're saying you don't have any privilege of having an inspector as a father. That was very strange. Again, I don't know what this book was trying to say. I was very confused at multiple points. So yeah, we talk about women's rights, but then make the women police officer idiots. And, oh, there's a female professor who then does not believe her about things and turns her away and is bad to her. And then, like I said, we had our main female character sacrificing herself to save a predator. And then again, the whole point of the book was her trying to protect / find the identity of the killer of this very rich white boy that the media is already covering ad nauseum. And it's just like, I don't understand what the point of this book was. I don't understand what it was trying to say. So I'm just very confused. I'm very confused about what this was, which is why I'm giving it like a 2.5, because the story was still really good, but I don't like any of the other things that like happened in it. So I'm just very confused. So like I said, like I could be totally off base about all of these reactions to this book. Like, I could have just read it incorrectly. I could have just seen things not right. Like, I could have just made it too big of a deal. Like, maybe I just made too big of a deal of it. So if you've read this, I would love to hear what you think about this book, and if I'm just reading into things too much, because, and again, I don't read into things a lot. But anyway, should have DNF'd it. I had the feeling should have DNF'd it, but I just didn't want to DNF it because I was sick of DNFing things. So we are moving along, and we're going to try and go back to mood reading because I should have DNF'd it based on this mood reading blog. So hopefully Two Twisted Crowns goes a little bit better. I'm probably going to take a break from reading for a little while, actually watch Knives Out because I still haven't done that, and maybe eat a little bit of dinner. It's a little late, but I'm not really hungry. I kind of ate lunch really late, so I might have some cereal for dinner. So we're gonna move along. Kind of upset because I was really excited about this. But yeah, I'm gonna sit with it for a little bit. I'm gonna think about it for a little bit. And if I kind of change my mind, or I don't know, I'm gonna read some reviews. Maybe I'll come back and talk about it if I figure something else out. But anyway, we're gonna go eat some cereal and go watch a movie. And I'll let you know, like I said, when I get to about 50% of Two Twisted Crowns, unless I change to something else. First, let's talk about Two Twisted Crowns because I am further than I thought I was going to be. I'm actually 68% into Two Twisted Crowns. It's fine. It's fine. I kind of agree with the general public that it's okay. It's okay. It's not what I wanted from a sequel. I actually really don't care for Elm's point of view. I thought it would be like my favorite, but I wish it had been Ione, and I think it would have been really cool because she's like emotionless but kind of feeling some emotions. So I think it would have been much more fun to actually follow in her perspective than Elm, because I also wanted to be in her head while she was trying to find like the thing that she was trying to find. And I think that would have been really, really fun to be doing that in espionage around the castle and having these like repressed emotions and stuff. I think it would have been really, really fun on her perspective instead of Elm. So that is probably my biggest negative of this book. It's also very jarring to switch between Elm and Raven's points of view, because Raven's point of view they're so different. They're so different. Like Elm's point of view almost feels not important for most of the book. And it's like when we're ripped away from Raven and we go to Elm, I'm like, can we go back to like the important stuff that's actually happening that the first book set up? Because like that's like Raven's point of view is really what you're looking for in this book and what you want to focus on. And I do think the pacing though of Raven's point of view is not great with what is happening. They basically have sidelined an entire character, and I don't think it works very well. Like a spark in the book has been taken out by taking this character out. So I'm fine with this book. It's funny because when I read One Dark Window the first time, I didn't like it for the romance. And I really expected to love Two Twisted Crowns because it was changing focus on different characters. So now that I reread One Dark Window and I actually liked those characters, now going into Two Twisted Crowns because we're not focusing on those characters, I'm not happy. So I'm really curious if I had read Two Twisted Crowns originally after One Dark Window, if I would have loved it. And now I don't, because I like the characters better. So I really wish I had read Two Twisted Crowns right after my original read of One Dark Window, but I'll never know because I didn't read it. But yeah, so I'm just very lukewarm on it. It's fine. I'm not driven to pick the book up, which is what I'm struggling with right now, is I'm not driven to pick any book up except the one that I did just literally pick up. But like the Fairy Loot Purge, that book, I just don't care. Like I'm kind of just super mid about that book as well. And now Two Twisted Crowns, I'm just kind of like, all right, I just kind of want to see what happens, how they fix things. I kind of just want to get to the end at this point. I do kind of think it was long and drawn out because of Elm's point of view. I almost kind of preferred it just have been in Raven and Elspeth's point of view and just cut that whole other side quest, which is sad because I thought that would be my favorite thing. But anyway, that's kind of where I am. I'll finish it probably tonight or tomorrow, just depends how I'm feeling. On to the book that I randomly picked up. So I picked up a book called Final Cut, and it's by Olivia Worley, and I have read a book by her before. I didn't realize that when I picked it up, but she wrote The Debutantes, which I actually really loved. I sometimes absolutely love young adult trash, and which is why I thought Oxford Blood was going to be great, and why after I read Oxford Blood, I was like, oh no, do I just like not like young adult thrillers / horrors anymore? And now, nope, it was just the book. It was just the book because Final Cut, it's so good. It's so good. I'm 37% into the book, and it is following our main character. I don't even remember the character names, like, because it is because I'm reading it while I'm feeling sick. I'm just vibing, so don't expect me to get deep into this book. But it's following our main character who has a dark history of her father was convicted of being a serial killer. And now that she's older, she has become obsessed with the horror genre and she really wants to be an actress. And she gets cast in a movie that is taking place in her hometown. And it's kind of inspired by the events of what her father supposedly did. And so it is very Friday the 13th slasher. I'm obsessed. Like, it's actually really, really good. Like, there's scenes from the victims' perspectives, and then you also are getting scenes of them actually filming like for the movie, which I love. I hate when a book tells me it's taking place on a movie set, but then you actually never see the movie set. That was my biggest problem with that book that I just read last month. It promised this like reunion and movie thing, and it barely took place on it. It was like wasn't about that whatsoever. This is what I wanted from that book. So yeah, I'm loving building up these side characters who seem like horror movie fodder. I love that. And it's just going in a very fun direction. I mean, it is basically just give me a script for a teen slasher and this is it. Like it is following a great, super fun pattern of a teen slasher. And so I'm having a great time. I have listened to all 37% tonight. I don't plan on stopping reading anytime soon. I am having a really good time. Maybe it's the year of the slasher because my favorite book so far this year is Your Favorite Scary Movie, talking about Scream. So maybe it's just the year of the slasher, so who knows. I also am thinking about other books that I'm going to read in this video. I talked about the Bonds That Burn. I don't know if I want to read that now. I'm kind of wishy-washy with it with fantasy. One of my friends just finished or is about to finish Taurus season and did not like it, but also didn't read Butcher and Blackbird. So I am curious. So she wants to know if I like that one. So I might pick up Taurus season, which I really want to read anyway. I'm also, to be honest, I'm not doing it for this video. So if I pick it up, I'll just tell you that I'm reading it. I kind of want to start the Stephen King. So I am working on reading Stephen King books this year, as well as the Cosmere. I have a lot of big projects this year that I'm kind of doing for myself personally, and you guys can come along for the journey if you want to. But I have my next Stephen King book staring at me over there, and I kind of want to pick that up, but I don't think it's the right time. I don't think it's the right time. I do actually need to start reading Vicious as well, but again, that's for a book club video. But anyway, that was the rambly video. I'm probably gonna go lay down, get ready for bed, and just listen to my book and play my little games on my phone. That's kind of how I cope with stuff right now, is listening to a book or listening to a podcast or listening to one of my commentary channels and playing stupid games on my phone. And it works. It's very distracting, but my screen time is going to be way up. It's going to be way, way up. So anyway, that is the very long overly explained update. I got my little ice pack here. We're gonna go relax. I'll let you know when I finish something, because it could be Two Twisted Crowns too. I could just finish both and then we'll have a big update next time. I have such a long update to give. Like, this is gonna be such a long update because I have finished 2 books, and because I totally forgot to give an update after I finished Final Cut, which wasn't like that long ago. But I finished Final Cut. I finished Two Twisted Crowns just now, about 5 minutes ago, and then I started a new thing because my mom and I have decided to start our next buddy read, which is really, really exciting. So let's start with Final Cut. Final Cut, I did finish that one. It was a very, very quick read. Finally a book I didn't want to put down. I did listen to it, which is really good. The audiobook is fantastic. I will say, if you want to read Final Cut, I would keep track of characters. I do think the ending reveal would have been more impactful if I could remember exactly who all the characters were. So that would have made it a little bit better, but I am gonna give it a 4-star. It made me remember why I liked young adult thrillers / horrors, because I would say this leans more towards horror instead of mystery thriller. This is just your fun slasher. I mean, this is, if you like Scream, if you like Friday the 13th, you're gonna love this. This is everything that I've been looking for in a slasher book. I'm so excited that I ended up really, really enjoying it. And that's kind of all I have to say about it. Like, it's nothing deep. There's nothing amazing in it. I thought the reveal was fun. I don't think it was like amazing. I did think it was fun. I will say, because obviously there's like the reveal of the killer, but then there's also like a background mystery that's going on, because our main character, like I said, is the daughter of a serial killer, potential serial killer. And you kind of find out, like when you find out what happens with that, I loved the twist with that. I thought it was so good. And there was like a little bit of romance, but not too much. Like it definitely kept that on the lower side of things, which I really enjoyed. It was very much on the lower side of things. It was not the point of the book, but I think it was really good. I actually would recommend this to most people if you want to read a fun young adult horror slasher book. This is going to be one on the top of my list for recommendations. Next, I just finished Two Twisted Crowns, and it's funny because the video I posted today had One Dark Window in it, and everyone was really, really excited. I ended up really liking One Dark Window, and I had a very differing degree of people talking about Two Twisted Crowns, because pretty much everyone who commented about One Dark Window was like, oh, I can't wait for you to read Two Twisted Crowns to see what you thought about it. And I was like, I'm glad I have that in this video because it went much different than I thought it would. So the comments definitely ranged. There were some comments, like half the comments said they liked it better than One Dark Window, half the comments said they were really bored by it, and I kind of fall I definitely fall more, I'm like trying to think exactly because I literally just finished this. I fall on I did find it not as good as One Dark Window. And I don't actually think that would have been different if I read it first. Like originally, I think my last update I talked about how I kind of wish I'd read it before my initial read of One Dark Window. I think I would have liked Two Twisted Crowns better than One Dark Window, but still not much better. I think I actually would have ended up with the same rating, although my one holdout and why I don't think I would have liked Two Twisted Crowns is because one of my things was thinking that the nightmare was the romance. That's one of the reasons I didn't like the book, because I didn't like Raven like the first time I read the book. And if you've read Two Twisted Crowns, you know why that's so funny and really uncomfortable and really awkward that I thought that that was what was happening. So me reading Two Twisted Crowns under that impression still, kind of thinking that could maybe be a thing, no, no, absolutely not. I potentially could have hated the book. And again, I was more on the side of her being with Elm as well. Literally anyone besides Raven. So I honestly don't know if I would have liked Two Twisted Crowns better. I don't know. So I'm giving it a 3.5. It's not too far off of One Dark Window. I think One Dark Window's premise was significantly better. I do think the second book, basically my major problem with book 2 is that I was bored and all I cared about what was happening with Elspeth. I will say, I think the biggest downfall of the book is that Elspeth was not the main character in it. And so I definitely agree. I actually found Elm's point of view incredibly boring. I wish it had been replaced with Ione's. I think following Ione would have been so much more interesting. I felt no chemistry between Elm and Ione in Elm's perspective. I did not find him, once we were not outside of him, I did not find him interesting anymore. Like him from other people's perspectives I liked. Like when Raven was talking to Elm, from Raven's perspective, I liked Elm. But Elm from Elm's perspective, I did not care. Like I just didn't care. So I don't think that would have changed if I had read it back in the day. I still don't think I would have loved his perspective because I just found it dull. So I did find a lot of the story boring. I do think the ending, I did cry at the end. I did cry at the end with Elspeth's wrapped up, her in the nightmare. The ending of that, cried. I do think I would have been bawling, crying, ripping at my hair, depressed, upset if Elspeth had been the main character in this book. I do think we had a bit of a Belladonna Wisteria situation. So if you don't know, I've talked about it 1,000 times. Belladonna series, I love the series. However, it ditches the main characters halfway through the second book, Foxglove, and then Wisteria is just completely focused on other characters, and it definitely brings the storyline down. Pretty much, generally everyone agrees. There are a small subset that think Wisteria is better, but that's kind of what it felt like. Honestly, it felt like we kind of threw Elspeth to the wolves and said, hey, we're gonna focus on Elm, who was the funnier character of the first series, and you're gonna take a back seat. And I do think that was a big mistake. I think that definitely harmed the overall story. I think it hurt the emotional impact of the end of Two Twisted Crowns. I still think it was a really good book. I still think it was good. I'm glad I read it. It was fun. I was a little bit bored. I was. So I wanted it to be another, just completely Elspeth and with a couple Ione chapters. You know, that I wanted Elspeth and Ione book. That's what I wanted. I know if I'm saying that, I still don't know if that's how you say her name, but Elspeth and Ione, oh my God, that would have been so good. I wish that is what this book had been. That's what I wanted. So anyway, 3.5. I did still like it. So the book that I just started, you guys know my mom and I read a lot of Frida McFadden books. She really likes Frida McFadden books, and I'm very hit or miss with them, so I just go along with the journey. So she knew that a new book was coming out. I don't think she knew that it was already out, so I sent her the link to it, and she ended up picking it up, and it's Dear Debbie. And you know what? I'm loving it. I'm only on chapter 9. Like, it hasn't been that long. It is very different than a Frida McFadden that I've read before. I'm actually having so much fun with it. It is very, oh man, it's kind of everyone's dream of this woman who, okay, we're gonna talk about it for a second, because actually this was brought up, and I don't remember who talked about it. Someone talked about the term Karen on their channel one time, and it's like funny to joke about the term Karen meaning something, meaning just the person who's like always in people's business and blah blah blah, but people use the term way too loosely. Like, anytime you don't like what someone does, they call the person a Karen. That is not what a Karen is. A Karen is someone who the checkout girl rang up your asparagus twice and it was an extra $1 and you scream at them. That's a Karen. That's what a Karen is. So if someone's playing really loud music and keeping you up at 1 a.m. and they call the police on you, that's not a Karen. That's not a Karen. You shouldn't be playing your music so someone across the neighborhood can hear it at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. That's not a Karen. So I do think that term is used very loosely. I also, I really wish I knew what channel it was that talked about it, because they talked about it and they said they hated the term because it is focusing on women again being villainized, because if a man were to go over there, because I've actually had this happen, so the music thing is a trigger for me. I had really bad neighbors in college, like really bad neighbors, hooked up a electric guitar to an amp and would play into the night till 2 a.m. on Tuesdays. And actually it was pretty much every day of the week, but Tuesdays just sounds funny to me right now. And so I would text him. He gave me his number, like not thinking I was gonna actually use it and tell him to shut the hell up. And I was like, dude, I gotta sleep. And he's like, oh, go to the library. And I'm like, I'm not gonna sleep at the library. It's 2 a.m. He's like, I'll be done in a little bit, 4 a.m. So yeah, a little triggered for that. Lucas went and talked to him. Dude was like, oh yeah, no big deal. Turns it right off. So I totally get that when people talk about not liking the term Karen, because it's like, my request, because I was an annoying girl, is a Karen. But my husband, who asked the exact same thing, oh yeah, bro, it's cool. It's cool. So I do think it's unfairly said to women a lot of times, when a lot of times women aren't being Karens, people are being assholes. So I have feelings about that term. There are definitely Karen moments, like what I said with the asparagus, but I do think the term is overused. In this case, we are following a mix of the two. We're following a woman who is a Karen in some situations and not in others. And honestly, it's kind of super fun because she does whatever she wants. She does whatever she wants. So for example, the book opens up with her literally sabotaging her neighbor's electrical wire because he's playing loud music. And you know what? I thought about it. I thought about it so many times. I could never do it. Never do it. But man, she fried it. She fried it. But then other things, like she went and go yelled at a neighbor for doing something, and I'm just like, ugh, I'm so enjoying watching you do these things, because like people don't actually do these things in real life. It's just a lot of fun. So yeah, it's following our main character Debbie, who runs, that was such a side tangent. It's following our main character Debbie, who runs an advice column. I'm sorry, I'm also holding this. If you can hear me clicking it, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put it down now. But yeah, it's following an advice columnist named Debbie. She has a perfect life. She's got a husband who's wonderful, and she's a stay-at-home mom who does this advice column kind of on the side for a little bit of extra cash. And she has this gorgeous home. She spends most of her time gardening. And she's kind of just like your generic suburban kind of mom, but I don't think she has kids as of what does she? No, she does. She does have kids, because she's pissed off at her kids. They're just very mean at least one's a really mean teenager. And so we're dealing with her kids, we're dealing with her husband, we're dealing with her neighborhood drama, and she is unhinged. And that's what the whole book is basically her getting retribution against people she feels have wronged her. And in some cases, it's probably is going to be people who wronged her. And then other cases, I'm sure it's going to be like tiny little slights that aren't even that big of a deal. And I'm like, here for the psychoticness that is about to happen in this book. So I'm really excited. It's very different so far than any other Frida McFadden. It's not focusing on like a mystery thriller kind of thing. It's more like a revenge drama and I'm kind of loving it. So I think I'm about page 50, I think, like I said, chapter 9. My mom is up to, she always says it like this, she says, and she's gonna watch this so she knows I'm gonna say it, but she says, I'm at chapter 12. I got to chapter 12. I didn't read chapter 12. She always says it like that. It always cracks me up. I'm at 9. I'm almost caught up to her. We'll probably talk about it in the morning, and then basically whatever she reads, she tells me, and then I catch up to her that night. Works out really well for us because she reads for like an hour every day, and that's like her reading time. And obviously I'm reading other stuff. So that way I don't get too far ahead of her and I just keep track of what she's doing. So that is what we're doing. So that is gonna be my audiobook, Dear Debbie. I might have another audiobook depending on how much she reads, because sometimes she'll zoom ahead and I'm like trying to catch up with her, because again, she reads like 60 pages in a day, which is a lot. Sometimes I read like 10. I'm always impressed that she can just tell herself to sit down and read, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Like, that is like regimented. I'm so impressed with that. Depending on that, I could pick up another audiobook. I don't know if I will right now. I have a couple of options, but right now it is Dear Debbie. So I need to pick a new physical book. I told you guys I'm thinking of The Bonds That Burn, but I did order it from Books A Million. It was like 50% off when I saw it, and I was like, ooh, let me order that. So I kind of want to wait for it to show up. So I do still plan to read it for this video, but I kind of want to see if it shows up. They're taking forever to ship it. I don't know if they like lost it or something. But I have a couple of other options here for physical books. And so I already talked about, I kind of want to read Taurus Season. I do think I'm going to, ooh, my copy got all, there we go. I do want to read Taurus Season. So I think this probably is what we're going to pick up next, but I do have some other things that I kind of picked up that I'm also interested in. But my friend Alyssa just read this. She did not love the vibe of this one, but she also did not read Butcher and Blackbird. So she really wants to know what I think about this one versus Butcher and Blackbird, because we're unsure if she'll like Butcher and Blackbird. We don't know, so we're trying to figure that out right now. But she didn't like that there wasn't enough like actual serial killer stuff in this. Like, she felt like it was almost mismarketed a bit. So I'm gonna see how this compares to Butcher and Blackbird, because Butcher and Blackbird had a lot of killer stuff in it. She also didn't think that this was slow burn. She said this felt very insta love, so she also felt like that was mismarketed as well. So those are the two things I'm gonna kind of check while reading this, and I'm also gonna see how similar it is to Butcher and Blackbird and see if maybe she'll like the other one. But so this is our main contender. This is probably what I'm starting tonight. I have started The Bonds That Burn when I got this, because that's how bad the ice is. The ice is so bad they can't deliver our mail. So we actually had to go and stand in line at the post office, and I felt so bad for the postal workers because there were so many people there to pick up their mail, but because it was like a huge post office location, so I'm sure like they serve like most of our area, which is a lot of people, and so everybody was there to pick their mail up, and I felt so bad for them because they were running around in the back unhappy, and then some people were showing up but their stuff wasn't actually being held. So like, I have like informed delivery, so it literally told me available for pickup, but some of these people were coming in because they like stuff was still like in transit, and they were like, hey, can I pick my thing up? And they're like, it's not even in the state yet. And it's like, oh my god, people will find any excuse to make things difficult for other people. So our stuff he found within like 10 minutes, and other people he was having to explain why their stuff was not there, and I was like, oh my god, it was a nightmare. But anyway, picked this up, started The Bonds That Burn. Hey, let's see what it's actually called. I always keep wanting to call it The Bond That Burns, but I think it's The Bonds That Burn. I think that's right. But I actually got it from Books A Million because like nobody is selling the deluxe edition anymore with the edges, and I like the original like edition better than the Target one because that was like the only one left with sprayed edges. But Books A Million had it, and they had it on like super sale. Like it was like 50% off, which is like the only reason I bought it, because it was full price. I probably would have waited to read the full book and then bought it, but because it was half off, I was like, why not? I'm having a good time with this series. Speaking of which, I have read the first couple of chapters, and I do think it's gonna be a romance between her and the guy that I don't like. And now that I've adjusted my expectations to know that it's a bully romance, that went over my head. That went over my head. I've never read one of those before. Thank you to the comment section that talked about it, because the comment section was like, yeah, I read the first one, kind of liked it, and then I didn't realize it was a bully romance. And I was like, thank you. Thank you for explaining that to me. And then a lot of people really did not like this in the comment section. They really, really didn't like it. A lot of people actually DNF'd it when I did before getting to like the Academy and stuff. So that's kind of what I told people. I was like, if you didn't like it, but you're still kind of like thinking about it, get to the Academy. And if you're still not liking it, DNF it. I'm having a good enough time. It's addicting. I read for entertainment, okay? I don't read most things for learning. If I want to do that, I'll read a textbook. I'll read my King Henry VIII books that I have plenty of. I'll read my periodic table of elements books, history books that I have that I do read for fun. But if I'm reading like a fiction book, I'm not looking for anything too intense. Sometimes, like, there are times when I do want something like that, like the reformatory. So stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I have to be in the right mood for it. But generally, if I'm reading a fantasy book, I'm gonna be reading something that's not gonna make me think too hard. Just wanna be entertained, I wanna vibe. I feel like I am a nightmare to other YouTubers who are talking about the downfall of intellectualism. Because they're like, you should read for some comprehension. And I'm sitting here going, nope. No. I mean, I do need a book that's written well. Like, I'm not rating these good. Like, the wings on, shit, what is it called? Wings on Wings of Blood. On Wings of Blood, it's not a 3. I gave it a 3. It's not a 3. It's a 2. It's a 2. My entertainment is like a 4. It's like, my entertainment is a 4. But I'm not rating it a 4. The Silver Elite, I don't think is as bad as other people say it is. So that one I did rate a 4. Or a 3.75 or a 4. On Wings of Blood is arguably not a good book. So I'm not going to rate it for my entertainment value. But I am entertained. So I'm very sorry to the YouTubers who are trying to make me an intellectualist. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not a chance. It's not happening. I'll do it every once in a while. Like I said, well, no. I was gonna say Stephen King, no. I don't think that's what they mean. I think they like real, like, literary fiction, hard hitters, Pulitzer Prize books. And I'm just like, nah, man. Just give me my little dragon books, okay? So if you want intellectualism, probably in the wrong place. Anyway, got it. It's so pretty. I think these books are gorgeous. And I actually love Books A Million's like packaging way better than Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble, my books always come like beat up and with marks and stuff on them. So I think I'm going to start pre-ordering more of my stuff through Books A Million instead of Barnes and Noble, because Barnes and Noble, this book is brand new. Like, it looks like I picked it up at the store. I like their packaging better as well. I like this better than the like box ones. I just don't think those do that well. I think these do way better, even though it doesn't seem like they would. But book is in perfect condition. I'm really, really excited about it. I am not very far into it, but I'm still having a great time. Just give me my stupid little vampire books, okay? Stupid little vampire and dragon books. So anyway, we are reading this. That is all the update that I have for you guys. I don't know why this like went on a side tangent, but having a good time. Anyway, reading this, I will let you know when I get closer to finishing this, and then I probably will move on to Taurus season. I got a little sidetracked because I knew we were going to go get this today. So I've officially finished Dear Debbie, and so is my mom. I'm giving it 5 stars. I love it. It's my favorite Frida McFadden since The Housemaid. Like, I loved The Boyfriend. I gave The Boyfriend 5 stars as well. I loved this. I loved this book so much. It was just fun. Like, it's nothing, well, I mean, none of her books are really that serious generally, but it was just one of those books where you are able to like live out not fantasies exactly, but kind of like anytime that you are like driving down the road and someone zooms past you and you're like, oh, I wish a cop car would come out of nowhere and pull them over. It's kind of one of those books where there's just like bad people actually, like, bad things happen to bad people, and it's kind of great. Like, it's kind of great. Like, some of the things were a little too much, like but generally kind of just a fun time. I did clock one of the twists immediately, which I was actually really excited about, but 2 of the other twists didn't see coming, and they made the book so good. They were perfect. So my mom also read it. She also loved it. She also gave it a 5 star, which she is a pretty big Frida McFadden fan. She generally likes most of her books. I can be hit or miss on them. So we both gave it 5 stars. I would recommend this one to people who generally like Frida McFadden. Like, if you're not a fan of Frida McFadden, don't bother with it. Like, there's just a sect of people who really despise her books and her writing. This is not going to change your mind probably. However, it is different than her normal books. Like, this is not trying to do a mystery. Like, this is not a mystery, really. It is just chaos. It is just chaos. So if you haven't liked Frida McFadden's mystery books in the past, you could try this one. I still wouldn't buy it, but could try this one. But I thought this one was so much fun. I had a great time with this book. And you know, it was a mystery in this fact that there were like a couple of twists that you could figure out, but there's not like an overarching big mystery kind of thing happening. So loved it, had a great time with that. Next update is I have read some of The Bond That Burns. Is that what it's called? The Bond That Burns. And you know what? I think it's worse than the first book. And I'm saying that because I think the writing is actively worse than the first book, which is kind of crazy. And I'm also unsure if the author knows what to do with this book. Like, it kind of feels like it should have been a duology instead of a trilogy or more books. I don't know if this is supposed to be a trilogy or longer. I think I'm about 25% into The Bond That Burns, which, God, these are such pretty books. But I'm using my little bookmark, it's a little chunky for book use, but it's so cute that I don't care. I love this. It's so cute. I am about 25%. I'm about 108 pages. It is flying by. I do think it's a little more boring than the first book. I also think it's significantly shorter. It is. The first book was a lot longer. Like, this is a tiny book compared to the first book. It's just written significantly worse. And I think that's because the author is confused what direction to take the book in. And so we're being told a lot of things. There's some weird phrasing. And then there's words that are reused multiple times in like a section, and it takes you out. Like, there's one section where she's like, maybe I would do this, and then a sentence later it says maybe something, and then again, like 2 sentences later, again it's like maybe this, and it's like there's some stylistic issues going on, which I'm not a writer. I wouldn't know how to fix that necessarily, but as a reader, it is taking you out of like what you're reading. It's kind of like making your brain kind of skips, like it stops and you're like, ooh, something was funky there. And that's the trouble I'm having with this book right now, is I feel like when I was reading On Wings of Blood, you could tell it wasn't written well, but it still flowed. In this one, I actually highlighted a section. In this one, it's not flowing. Like, my brain is skipping and pausing and trying to figure out what's going on with the writing, and that's how I know kind of it's just not a smooth writing. And it does seem like this one's even less edited than the first one was, which is something I would not expect at all. I did not expect that. And it does make me a little bit nervous going into a third book potentially, because like I'm still like joining the plot kind of. I don't know. This is such a weird series. Like, this is, I don't know why I keep reading it. I'm like addicted to it, but I don't think it's very good. I don't know. And I know for a fact I'm not going to like the romance, because I am rooting for the dude who she's not going to end up with. I like him so much better, but I know that's not the point. Like, absolutely not the point of is her being with him. She's not going to be with him. And it kind of makes me really sad. Like, it makes me really, really sad. So I did highlight a couple of things. Like, this is a little section. Like, there's nothing inherently bad about it, but it's just, it's funky. Like, it's funky, and it's like talking to the audience instead of like talking with the story. It feels like the author's trying to get a point across with this like inner monologue, and these monologues, there's so many. There are so many inner monologues in this book. I thought of all that had happened between us since we met. I'm gonna like blank out like names and stuff. I thought of all that had happened between us since we met. She treated me like shit at first, then she'd saved me during the consort games. But it's like this inner monologue of like re-going over stuff that we already have been over and that we experienced with her. And this happens all the time. Of course, she'd done it because blank had told her to, but she'd been decent about it. She'd tried her best to help. And like those little things, like she tried her best. And it's like, that's such a weird way to phrase that. She really did seem to want to let bygones be bygones. I still didn't know her very well, but there was something about her I'd come to like. She was blunt, direct, even harsh in a way, but I sensed I could trust her. It's just weird, right? Like, it's weird writing. Maybe it's just my brain, but that whole section is very like, I'm telling you these things so you know them, and that is how the whole book feels. And the first book was definitely was like that. The first book, I talked about it a little bit, but it was like, hey, I don't know, and they did it in this book as well. Hey, I don't know this thing. Could you tell me about this thing? And they're like, oh my God, you don't know about this thing? Turns out I'm an expert on this thing. Let me tell you about it. And then it's like pages of information dumping, and it is doing it in this one as well. And that's what that reads almost like too, like, hey, I like this person. We like this person. It's just so weird. And then this like made me crack up. This little phrase. It didn't square with everything I knew about him. It didn't square with what? Like, I get that's a phrase. I have never heard someone use that. Like, I know it is. I've heard it in like old movies from like the 20s or the 30s, but it's like, I didn't square with him. What era are you from? Like, what? That was so, and she doesn't talk like that. None of the characters talk like that. So where did that come from? So it's just little things like that that just like don't make sense with the book. I'm still gonna read it. I'm still like want to know what's going on. I also hate the dragon. I don't hate the dragon. I hate how the dragon is written. It is very, let me copy Fourth Wing. It is very painfully trying to copy Tairn. And it doesn't work. It's not working. That being said, still reading it, still cringing, somehow still enjoying I don't know. Am I enjoying myself? I don't know. I am excited because we did end up going out today because I totally forgot to get dishwashing pods yesterday when we were out, which was very annoying. But we did end up going to Books A Million to see if a book came out early. And I was really sad because at first I thought it was going to be in horror or mystery. So I checked horror, wasn't in horror. Then I checked mystery and I was like, oh no, it's not in mystery either. So let me check literary fiction. Checked literary fiction, not there. And I was like, well, shit. They don't have it early. Ugh. We came here for nothing. So as I was about to leave, I was like, let me check romance. Like, it's like romance adjacent. So it could be actually listed as romance because some weird things are listed as romance. It was in romance. It was in romance. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. I would classify this more as like horror-y mystery just based on the back. Because yeah, I know it's like her dating at a dating event thing, but there's like literally people being murdered in the book. So this was on my list. I really, really wanted to get this. This was a book of the month, but it was an add-on for book of the month. And I didn't want any of the main picks, and I'm trying to be really picky about my aardvarks and book of the months. I did say I was going to get aardvark books. I ended up not, because I think every aardvark book I wanted this month for February, I would read on Audible, because I read most of my mystery thrillers audibly. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save money. I'm not gonna do it. Look at me being an adult. I also almost bought the pretty edition of Metal Slinger with this, but I put it back down. I put it down and I only picked this up because I want to read it now. So this will probably be read in this video if I get to it. So I'm just between this one and Taurus season. So we're gonna see, but I gotta finish Bonds That Burn first. Okay. Okay. If you have been waiting for a rant review, if this video has been too positive for you, this is gonna be for you. This is gonna be for you. Finally hit not a good book. So we have finished The Bond That Burns, and I'm gonna go ahead and just give it 1 star. I'm also gonna lower my rating for On Wings of Blood to 2 stars because I like worked myself up to a 3-star for that book, like gaslighting myself that it was really good. Nah. This one's worse. This one somehow is worse. We're gonna talk about spoilers too. We're gonna talk about spoilers. So I will put a spoiler thing up when I start talking about spoilers. I'm gonna go through my spoiler-free thoughts first, and then I'll put a thing up so you guys know you can go to the next clip. So before I get into this, then I will give my update of like what I'm reading right now, so that if you guys want to skip the spoilers for this, you can just go right ahead to the next clip. I am reading Taurus season. I haven't gotten very far into it. I think I've read 2 chapters, basically enough to get both perspectives chapters. And I don't know why I was under the impression that I was following a female serial killer and a male detective. And that is not the case. Like that, I don't think that's... Why did I think that's what it was? Because I don't think that's what it is. Wait, okay, hold on. Cape Carnage is a seaside town of colorful houses, blah, 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 blah. Harper protects her sanctuary and her aging mentor with a fading memory at any cost. Troublesome tourists don't check out of Carnage. They compost beneath Harper's award-winning flower beds. Okay, I was clocked in for that. But Nolan Rhodes isn't your average tourist, devilishly handsome, disarmed, what a blah, blah, blah. Nolan is relentless in the pursuit of revenge. On every anniversary of a hit-and-run accident that fractured his life, Nolan slays another target, and he saved the best for last, the undeniably beautiful Harper Starling. The problem, Harper isn't the monster he expected, and she won't go down without a fight. Okay, I think I see where I got confused, because the next section says, when an amateur true crime investigator comes to Cape Carnage on the trail of a long-lost serial killer, Harper and Nolan strike an uneasy truce. I think I got confused when I was reading like an original like miniaturized synopsis, and I thought Nolan was the amateur true crime detective, investigator, whatever. I think that's where my problem was. So he is not. He is not. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. So definitely his chapter, I was like, wait a minute. This isn't what I thought this was. So it's fine so far. I mean, I've read 2 chapters. I can't tell you how I'm feeling about it. The writing is fine. It is like Butcher and Blackbird's writing, which I am fine with. So nothing to write home about. So I will let you know later, the farther I get into this, what I think about it. I did love Harper's chapter. I do think I'm going to really, really enjoy Harper's chapter. So we'll see about that. But back to The Bond That Burns. So, non-spoilery thoughts. I talked about it before, but the writing is bad. The writing is so bad. There's so many repetitive things happening. We're being told a lot of information. There's like just reusing the same words over and over again. I don't have my Kindle with me, but I had like highlighted so many things that were just so distracting to the reading process, but I just don't feel like reading them. I don't feel like telling you because I already gave you a couple like examples. I don't need to give you 1,000 more. That's just what it is. It's just the same stuff that I already told you about over and over and over again. And it does not feel like an editor went through and did stuff for that, because that's like the definition of what an editor I feel like catches. Again, I'm not an editor, so I don't know 100%, but that does feel like something an editor would be like upon a first pass through too, like not even like deep editing, like surface level editing of like, oh, my brain didn't like that. You used maybe 3 times in the same sentence. We need to find a different word or a different way of phrasing what you're trying to say. And none of that happened throughout this book. It really does feel like this was written and then picked up traditional. And I don't know. I know the first one was written self-published, I believe, and then was picked up traditionally. I don't know if this one was, but it feels like it was. It feels like it was picked up traditionally, but nothing was done with it. Like, I would be much more willing to forgive a lot of the issues with this if this wasn't a $32 traditionally published book. This should be edited better. I luckily did not pay full price for it. I only bought it because I found it for 50% off, but that's besides the point. A lot of other people did buy this full priced. I don't understand the Goodreads ratings. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause because I almost launched right into it. We're not doing that yet. So, hate Blake. I really hate him. I hate him. My dislike for him got even stronger in this book, and it's not even really like, it's about the bully romance aspect of it, but he's not even like that bad, minus the thing that happened at the end of On Wings of Blood. But his character is just not written very well. Like, he gave me whiplash. The author gave me whiplash with his character, and we'll go over it in spoilers, but he was like one way 1 second, and then the next second everything was changed with him, with Medra, with everything. And it was like, this is really dumb. Like, this is not well plotted out. There's no semblance of this making sense of why this happened. So it was just very strange. It was very, very bizarre how it was written. His character is just not written very well. And then the things that were just happening in this book were absurd. They were absurd. I still do stand by the fact that this does not feel like it was supposed to be written. Like, it does feel like this series was supposed to be a duology or something, and this was just thrown in there. It's like a short, really boring, do nothing book. Like, it doesn't do anything until the end, and then the end was bonkers, and some of it didn't make a lot of sense either. Like, that's what I'm a little bit confused about, and again, we'll go over it in spoilers, but there's things that were written here that actively don't make sense and seem like they were just thrown in here because she thought it would be kind of fun. So it's just not a good book. It's not a good book. Am I going to read the next book? Yes. I need to know what happens. It's bad, but I want to know what happens. And I'm sure I'm not going to like what happens, but I need to know what happens. And I swear to God, if this is longer than 3 books, I will throw a temper tantrum. But Nikki, you've created a monster. I hate this series, but I can't stop reading it. Like, I do fully blame you for this. Even though I have free will. Guys, if you're an OG for my channel, we're having flashbacks right now to Every Heart a Chainsaw, which I DNF'd that 3rd book, so there's hope that I'll DNF it. But I'm having flashbacks to Every Heart a Chainsaw, which, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, towards the beginning of my channel, I was reading Every Heart a Chainsaw. I think I gave the first one like a 1 star. I hated it. Didn't want to give up on it. Read the second one, gave it like a 2 star or a 1.5, something like that. And then I was like, I don't know, I can't stop reading it. And then I did end up DNFing the 3rd one because I think it came out like really far apart from when I read the second one. So I was like, whatever. So I ended up losing interest in it. But this is feeling like that situation again. But the 3rd one's coming out in like a month. So I'll be reading it. It's also gorgeous. Like, come on, gray and pink. Like, I'm not gonna read that. What are you talking about? So anyway, we're gonna move into spoilers. We're gonna move into spoilers for The Bond That Burns. I keep wanting to call it The Bonds That Burn. To me, that makes a lot more sense, right? The Bond That Burns. The Bonds That Burn. I guess there's one bond. No, there's like so many bonds that are happening in this. And they all feel like they're on fire. So the whole book feels like it's on fire. So anyway, we're moving into spoilers. Spoilers. And this will be spoilers for the ends of On Wings of Blood as well. I mean, if you're getting spoilers for this, makes sense that you would get spoilers for the first one. So if you don't want to know any spoilers, just see when I look different and move on to that clip. And hopefully we won't have any spoilers for the rest of the video. But I feel like it is my due diligence to ruin this book for everybody so they don't read it. Anyway, so the point of the first book is really her relationship with Blake and just figuring out what the world is, which we still don't understand the world. But the end of On Wings of Blood, and why a lot of people have an issue with it and why this is considered a bully romance, Blake is a vampire. He's a high blood. Medra is a fae from a different world, but she is considered a Blightborn, which is immortal. It's basically a human in this world. High bloods take advantage of the Blightborns all the time. Medra has been like mated to Blake against both of their wills, but Blake becomes obsessed with her. Like, he's in love with her, basically. He needs to feed from her to solidify their bond. Otherwise, somebody else could steal her. And so Blake is concerned that his uncle, who is a very, very terrible person, he's in charge of their house or whatever, very concerned that Victor is going to feed from her and take her for himself. And he's a very abusive, very mean person. So instead of communicating that to her, Blake just feeds on her. And it is honestly really traumatic. It is, I mean, it's assault. Like, he assaulted her, fed from her. And because he did that, he only can feed from her. So now he's put his whole life on her shoulders. So if she doesn't want him to die, she has to let him feed from her. Right? It's gross. It's so gross to force that onto somebody. Yeah. So that's how On Wings of Blood ends. That, and Medra wakes up a dragon, and the dragon turns out to be from a different house than the house that she's like aligned with because of Blake. So the next book opens up and she has been confined to the Drakauer Tower for all summer. She's been also communicating with her dragon, who she is not bonded with. The bonding process is like this whole thing. They don't tell you how it happens. That's something you learn at the end of this book. So the majority of the book is Blake and her fighting because she has rejected him but still has to feed him. So he's literally stomping around like a child. I personally love Tanaka, who is the other romantic interest. He's not really gonna be one, but it's like throwing in an extra person in there so Blake gets all jealous, but his jealousy is like super unattractive. Like, normally I love jealousy tropes, but he's such a child about the jealousy. It's not fun. Like, it's not fun to read. He acts like a 16-year-old child who's not getting his way. And it is one of the least attractive things I have ever read. It just reminds me of a little kid, and I want to go, hey, you're in timeout. Like, you need to go to your room. You need to think about what you're doing and just go away. So that's like majority of the beginning of the book is her flirting with Tanaka and Blake running around jealous, acting like a little bitch, because he is acting like a little bitch. That's the majority of the book. And the tribunal, whatever, is trying to figure out what to do with her and making her show that her dragon listens to her. So we get to the end of the book, and Blake is starting to... This is where it gets weird. Blake is starting to show signs of dragon scales on his skin. This is literally out of nowhere. Apparently, you would think this would be more of a common thing. Tanaka can also do it. Tanaka turns into a wolf. Figured that out really fast. But apparently, for who knows what reason, high bloods can transform into animals. I don't know. It really wasn't explained, but Tanaka can turn into a wolf. Don't know why. Blake now turns into a dragon. I don't know. It seems stupid. It was out of nowhere. It makes absolutely no sense. It was goofy. And the uncle is like, oh, I was wondering if that would happen because you fed from a girl with rider blood and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, this literally doesn't make any sense. Like, actually doesn't make any sense because Medra's fae from another world. Like, technically she's not really like a rider from your world unless it's all fae from other worlds that have been that doesn't make any sense. Like, the world makes no sense. It really doesn't. So then at the very, very end, like, and Medra get together towards the end of the book, and she's starting to trust him again, and obviously has to do something absolutely terrible to make her not trust him anymore. So at the end of the book, him and Tanaka, which I was very disappointed in Tanaka, I expected better from him, and Rodriguez, who again was in our corner. I love how every single person besides Florence who Medra trusted has turned a little shithead. So they decide that they need to make the dragon back into stone, and they trick Medra, and they start doing that whole thing, but they're interrupted by the goon squad over there with Marcus and Catherine and all of them, and they decide to awaken another dragon. However, again, this is another part that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So our dragon was woken up from a blood ritual, and he just woke up and he was alive. We are under the impression that all of the dragons that were turned into stone are alive, but the dumbasses raise the other dragon using necromancy. But then the mom's in the dagger this whole time too. Still, that was insane. I'm not even gonna get into that. But the mom, so Medra is trying to help get rid of this new dragon that's been woken up. Again, it's goofy. I'll explain in a second. So we think that this dragon is being woken up by necromancy and is dead. But the mom goes into the dragon. Don't get me started on this. The mom transfers from the dagger to the dragon, and Medra's talking to her telepathically, and she's like, oh, this poor beast. There's still a little bit of her left, but she's fighting the corruption. And I'm like, if there's a little bit left, then how are they using necromancy on the dragon? Necromancy is like I feel like a known thing where you can only use it on dead things. Like, I don't think this dragon's actually dead, but you're still somehow using necromancy on it. Make it make sense. I'm probably reading too much into it, but it doesn't make any sense. And then the mom and the dragon fly away. I don't know. It's weird. But then that whole thing, Florence gets hurt. She gets hit by an arrow or whatever. And Medra, being the selfish bastard that she is, asks the dragon who's already been through so much. I don't know why this dragon just is like not leaving. Like, why aren't you just leaving? Go live out a nice, peaceful, happy life away from these idiots. But Medra's like, please bind with her. Please bind with the weakest person on the planet who could literally get stepped on and probably die. I'm asking this for you, even though potentially they'll soul bind. Soul binding is a whole nother thing where a high blood can enter someone else's body and control them. I don't know. And they could easily soul bind Florence and then take control of the dragon. Make it make sense. Why? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And also the Fluffin, we got a little fox looking thing. The Fluffin supposedly has healing powers, but like didn't heal her and is like forcing the dragon to bond with her to heal her. Because if a dragon and a rider or a Blightborn bond, it can heal the Blightborn. I don't know. That wasn't brought up at any time. Okay. Okay. Are you with me? Because I wasn't with me when I was reading it. So it ends with the stupid dragon being like, okay, I'll do it. And it's like, man, if I was this dragon, I would burn every single one of you to a crisp. You've all been terrible. You've betrayed me. You've asked me for dumb things and done nothing for me. Why am I keeping you alive? Like, why am I keeping you alive? So that it just doesn't make any sense. So it ends with them supposedly bonding, and that was it. So That's why it's a 1 star. That's why it's a 1 star, because the plot doesn't make sense. The romance is god awful. Awful. Oh yeah, I forgot. So Blake, the thing is, Blake is literally humiliating her half of the book. Then suddenly they like are going for a feeding session and they have sex. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And then suddenly the next day, like, Blake's all like, oh my god, I love you again, and like doing all these nice things for her. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with her, I'll apologize to her, all I want. And like 3 pages ago he was like, I would never apologize, that's crazy. And then Medra's like into it. Make it make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. This book does not make any sense. So unfortunately, it is a 1 star. I was hoping that this was going to elevate the series up, but it has brought the series down. I'm still gonna try to read the 3rd book, but it feels like punishment at this point. So anyway, that is the update. That's the spoilers. We're gonna move into hopefully reading some of Taurus season, but I may switch back and forth between stuff. I have decided that this video is gonna go through, it's Monday today, the 2nd. It's the 2nd. This video is gonna go through the end of this week, and I'm gonna post it Sunday. So basically whatever I get done in this week is what we'll be finished with, and like I'll let you know, like if I don't finish something, I'll just tell you an update of like, hey, it's going well, and then you can see what if I liked it in the wrap up at the end of the month. But that's kind of what I think I'm gonna do. So, well, if you hear snoring, that's my dog. He's in the back. He's in the back. We've had a long day. We've had a really, really long day. So today started off good. Got some reading in. We're going to talk about it. That's why I'm updating now. Is got some reading done for Taurus season. So I'm about 25% in. But I'm going to tell my little story first because I am sad and annoyed and all the emotions. All the emotions. And that's why I might not get like a ton of reading done, or I'll get more reading done. I don't know. Also, if you hear any like that noise, it's my hand against the steering wheel. I don't know if it's actually showing up on camera or on audio. Anyway, so today is fine. We started off the day hanging out with one of my friends watching Siesta Key. We watched Trash in the morning, which is really fun. We started doing that recently. And then I knew I had to go because I had to bring Taz to his vet visit. I don't know if it's in this video. I don't know what video it's in where I talked about Taz. Taz got injured, ran his eye into a stick 2 weeks ago, I think, and created an ulcer. Then he started getting a lot better and then managed to scratch it after it was already kind of better and reopened the ulcer back up because it wasn't completely healed yet, and actually turns out punctured the eye, like deeper into the eye. So today was his, like, because we've now been to the vet like 3 times, I think 3 times, not counting today. So today was his later revisit where we needed to see how far it had healed or if it had gotten worse. And part of it has healed, but most of it has gotten worse, and it does look like the eye is actually infected. So like the cornea has healed or is healing, but the actual like inside of the eye, there's like pus and stuff in it. So that's great. So the options we're looking at. So basically the vet could have started him on like rounds of antibiotics, but she was like, I don't know if this will do anything because it's actually really hard to get through to the inner eye. It takes like really aggressive drugs, and there is a possibility he's going to lose the eye. Started sobbing. She knew it was coming too. she was ready with a box of tissues. And it's like, my husband said it. He barely can see anyway, but it's just like, ugh. I feel responsible because I took the stupid cone off because he wasn't eating, he wasn't itching at himself, he wasn't doing anything, and he was in a good mood. I took it off because he was choking one night. I think he was faking. He was choking one night, it seemed like, on the cone, and he wouldn't eat with the cone on, so we took it off for a little bit. I fell asleep. That's when he scratched it. So I feel responsible because he was almost healed. So started bawling at the vet office. But she said your options are I can treat him or take his eye out, or I can call an ophthalmologist for you and we'll send him to an ophthalmologist and see what she says. And so I was like, okay. She's like, I'm going to go call them now, see if I can get him in today or tomorrow. So I said, okay. And so she called, they come back in, and she's like, yeah, they're ready. They're going to see you at 2:30 today. Go there right now, call them on the way, give them your information. They're going to see you. So I showed up. She has a lot of people. Like, she's got a lot of dogs that she sees. I felt confident seeing how many people were there, and the receptionist was really nice. She like knew people, like they walked in and she's like, oh my God, hi. And I was like, oh, kind of like it. So she was awesome. She was so tall. She was so tall. I was very impressed with how tall she was. I love tall people. I think it's because I'm so short. Every time I see a tall person, I'm like, oh, you're so tall. I wish I had like 5 of your inches. If I had 4 more inches of height, I feel like I could rule the world, honestly. But at 5'1", can't even walk through a grocery store without getting lost if someone comes with me. Actually, can't walk through a department store. Like, I'm shorter. I'm like right here, like the racks and stuff. I'm like right here. So I kind of like have to like tiptoe and stuff if I want to find anybody. Anyway, so tall. For some reason, inspired confidence in me. She comes in, she knew what she was talking about right away. I mean, she handled him super well because he's very fussy. Like, he's so fussy. I wonder if you can, yeah, see, there he is. He's passed out. He is passed out asleep. So she handled him like a pro, was able to check all the stuff on his eye, do all this stuff. And so she said it's not ruptured. So she's very happy with that. It's incredibly inflamed. And she said it is really deep of an ulcer, but she's surprised how inflamed it is. So gonna continue him on an anti-inflammatory. He's got so many drugs now. So she said, we're going to go on the offensive and we're going to do this huge drug regimen for 2 days. And then I'm going to schedule you for Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Don't let him eat, just in case we'll rush him into surgery if he needs it. So stressful, especially because he's just never been hurt. He was hurt one other time. When we first moved into this house, he jumped off the stairs and twinged his back, and he had a slip disc, is what they think it is. They still don't 100% know what it was. I think it was a slip disc. He didn't really have use of his back legs for like 2 days, but within 4 days, he was running around fine again. This is the most hurt he's ever been, and it is stress. He's 16 years old, almost 16, 15 and like 3/4. And the poor baby is suffering, and it makes me so sad. But anyway, so we're gonna go on the offensive the next 2 days, the rest of Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday morning we're gonna see if he's improved at all. If he has not improved at all, they're gonna go in and do some sort of surgery, probably to take the pus out and see what's going on in the eye. So we'll see what happens. It's not great. So then I decided to go to 7 Brew because I was sad, and I was like, I'm just gonna get 7 Brew. Get the coffee, had a very nice chat with the person. It was actually really funny. Apparently there's a war at that 7 Brew between the 7 Brew and the Hardee's next door, because apparently the owner is like this 60-year-old crotchety man, or not the owner but the manager, and the manager doesn't let them park in the Hardee's parking lot, even though the Hardee's parking lot has like 1,000 parking spots, and the 7 Brew has like none. It was not a good spot for that 7 Brew. I don't think, it seemed like it was not big enough for like an actual place to be. And so there's like no spots for the employees to park. So they kind of have to like figure out how to park and then walk over to work. And so the guy at Hardee's literally is calling tow trucks on their cars. And it's like, they're not paid enough to deal with you. Like, they're not. And also, like, 7 Brew is known to play music, and they can play music pretty loud during the day. But it's like, you're at a Hardee's. It's not like your house. It's not your house. Like, just enjoy the music. But apparently the guy walks over all the time and yells at them about their music. But it's like, I would get it if it's your home and you're trying to sleep, or you're trying to do work at home, or just like existing in your house and 7 Brew is next door playing horrible music. Because I generally don't love the music that has been playing at 7 Brew, but that's to each their own. But if it's just like you're working at the Hardee's next door, you're fine. Like, you're fine. Or just like, I don't know. It seems a little absurd. Like, fine, if you don't like the music, fine, go over to them and turn it down a little bit. But like calling tow trucks on them, you're just being nasty. Like, you're being nasty about it. So she told me all about that. And then promptly, as I was leaving the parking lot, I spilled the coffee on myself. So I got coffee. I was gonna see if you can see it. You can't really see it that much. You can see some of it. Oh yeah, there it is. See, look at all the coffee. Look at all the coffee. It's great. It's great. We're having a great time. And I finished it all on the way home. And that makes me sad. I thought I would have more. I drink it really fast. Anyway, that update out of the way, let's talk about Taurus season. Like I said, I'm 25% into Taurus season. It's very similar already to Butcher and Blackbird, how it's written. I was prepared for the cringiness. So, like, that's what Alyssa said. Alyssa was talking about how she didn't love the book because remember when it wasn't dark enough for her? She's a dark romance reader. So she wanted it to be darker. But she also thought it was just very insta-love, very cringy. And I see it. Like, immediately, it was like, he's obsessed with her. immediately, and like not in a fun way, but I was ready for it because Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark were very similar. So I kind of just like knew to expect that from this book, so I kind of was able to just brush it under the rug and move on, because so far I'm really enjoying it. It's following our two main characters. Kind of talked about it a little bit because I was under the impression it was different than it was, but one of our characters lives in Cape Carnage and she is killing tourists that are like ruining the vibes. And basically they're just bad people. Like, you have to be a bad person, she'll kill you if you're a bad person. Again, very similar to Butcher and Blackbird. And then our other main character is actually there for revenge. So he is different than our Butcher and Blackbird characters. He is killing people, but it's for a very specific reason. It's very specific people. It's not just anybody, it's very specific people. Well, that kind of changes during the book. Anyway, she is on his hit list for reasons. I think it kind of talks about it, but not really, so I won't spoil it. But she is on his hit list, and that's what has brought him to Cape Carnage. And they end up having to work together to do something. Again, I think it's in the synopsis, but I won't say. I think I read the synopsis too, guys. I won't say what it is just in case, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It reads very quickly, just like, again, Butcher and Blackbird. It's very similar to Butcher and Blackbird enjoyment-wise. I'm glad it's not as dry and slow as Leather and Lark was. Leather and Lark, not my favorite. So I'm liking that tourist season is a little more interesting. I was worried at first because I didn't enjoy like the third chapter. I was like, oh no, that's when the cringiness happened, but it's pulled it back. It's pulled it back. So we're going to continue reading that. We'll see what I get to. We'll see what I get to, because taking care of Taz and stuff, it is taking up a lot of time because he is a poor little baby. He's such a poor little baby who's snoring in the back. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute, but so injured. So I'll keep you guys updated on him as well. Like, you're going to get the whole thing about him because I'll be going Thursday. So you guys, this will be the vlog for the poor dog. So anyway, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to get his medicine. I got to put his medicine in the fridge, and I got to figure out what medicine I need to give him. So I have some book update things. It's also snowing outside. Because it is snowing outside again. Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't supposed to snow. So that was surprising. I'm also babysitting the dog because he did end up having to have surgery. It actually wasn't that scary. Like, apparently it's a routine procedure. So basically there was just too much pus. It wasn't going down after the regimen that we were going through. So if you do hear him crying, he's upset. He's not necessarily in pain. It's just still some of the anesthesia is wearing off from yesterday because he is an older dog. Apparently it can take a really long time for it to fully wear off, but he's uncomfortable. Like, he is. So he's gonna cry. He's uncomfortable, and he's also in a hard cone now. He's not a big fan of that. That's been fun. He keeps trying to rip it off, so that's been really fun. He also keeps trying to run his face into things because there's still a very wide open space for him to run his face into things, so that's also great. But anyway, he ended up having to have surgery on the eye. The pus wouldn't go away. It was still really bad. She was really concerned it was going to rupture, and if it ruptured, it was most likely going to lose his eye. So that case, brought him in at 9 a.m. She said, yeah, if you want, we can go ahead and do the surgery. And I said, yep, just do it. I'd rather make sure we save the eye, or have the best chance possible of saving the eye. So they went in and they did a graft over the site where it's scratched into the actual eyeball. And they got rid of the pus, they cleaned the area, did like an injection and stuff into it. And then, yeah, like I said, they put a graft, and then there's like a blood supply connecting to the graft, which I thought was really interesting. And he's just trying to heal for the next 2 weeks. I do have an appointment again next week to take him back in to see how he's doing. So I am basically just on in-depth puppy watch for the next 2 weeks. So I don't plan on doing anything, going anywhere. I'm just going to be working on vlogs. So that aside, I actually have read something, and I have changed the schedule. Let me talk about the schedule first. I forgot. This was actually going to come out this Sunday. So it is Friday now. It is what is today? Friday. Sunday would be the 8th, 7th. It is the 6th. So it is Friday, February the 6th. And this was going to come out February the 8th. However, all of my boxes came for unboxings except for the Fairy Loot Cozy, which is coming now at the end of February, and then the Sci-Fi and Fantasy box from Broken Binding, that's also coming out later in February, I think. So those are not coming in time, so I wouldn't have them in this video anyway. So everything else has showed up. So I filmed it and it's ready to go. So I'd rather put that out just because of like algorithm wise things. The fastest you can get out that month's box, the better. So the closer to January I can release the January unboxing, the better. So we're gonna put that out. And then I don't like pushing my January wrap up so far, but This video has to come out before my January wrap up because there's a ton of books in this video that are going to be in the January wrap up, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk about them in the January wrap up. So instead, this will come out, I think it's the 11th, and then the wrap up is going to come out the Sunday next, so the 15th. So I think that's the schedule currently. I also need to pick up Vicious soon. I'm also pretty close to being done the Fairy Loot Purge. I have a couple more picks to do, but we'll see. It's not going the best. I kind of talked about it a little bit, but we won't talk about it here. But for this video, the mood reading definitely struck because I ended up picking up a random ass book that I saw that sounded so cool called A Lonely Broadcast. I actually picked up a physical copy that will be arriving Sunday, I think. And honestly, it was really good. So A Lonely Broadcast is following our main character, Evelyn, and she's got kind of a shady past, but she is from this weird town, and her dad actually died working as like a ranger kind of thing, or a police officer. I'm not sure if it was a ranger. I think it was a ranger, but she gets hired on as a radio host for this radio station that's like out in the middle of the woods. It looks like it's in a fire watch tower. And so I really wanted to read it because I saw the cover's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite covers. I love how it's designed. It feels very video game. There's actually a video game called Firewatch where you're someone who's working at a Firewatch station and they're kind of dealing with all these problems. And so it just felt very similar to that, and I loved that video game. And so I was like, okay, Firewatch but make it horror is basically what this book is. And that's literally what it is. It's literally what it is. I think my biggest issue, so anyway, following Evelyn, and when she starts working in this tower, weird stuff starts to happen. It is a horror book, and it's pretty gruesome. Like, it's gruesome and it's legitimately scary. And so she's kind of dealing with the weird things that are happening, but she's also kind of getting used to them at the same time. Like, it's become her like new normal. But another radio host is hired, a co-host, and they kind of work together to grapple with the weirdness that is going on at the station. And they have to fight the overarching evil. It is nature, monster, and cosmic horror. I would say light cosmic horror, but it is still cosmic horror. And so I will say, I do think the book was too long for what it was trying to do. I still really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 3.5. It's like, you know, I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I'll give it a 3.75 because I was about to say it's closer to a 4. 3.75, and what's really sad because the first 50% of the book was probably a 5-star. I was so excited. I was loving every second of it. When we did get into more of the cosmic horror aspects of it, I'm starting to think I don't like cosmic horror, like the actual cosmic horror parts of books. I love the beginning of cosmic horror books, but I don't like where cosmic horror normally ends up. So that's an interesting thing that I didn't think about. But now I've read 3 cosmic horrors. I've read the Dead Take the A Train, which didn't love the ending of it. It got too weird for me. Same thing that happened with There Is No Antimemetics Division. Cosmic horror, loved the beginning, got a little too weird. Same thing happened with A Lonely Broadcast, where it started off amazing, very suspenseful, very strange, but then it got like super weird, theoretical, hard to envision. So I think, I guess We Used to Live Here is also cosmic horror, but it is a different brand of cosmic horror. It's a like singular location, smaller setting cosmic horror. So I think it worked a little bit better. It still was very confusing at the end though. Like, it still had that thing at the end. So, but that just, the whole book for that one worked for me. But I think maybe that's what I'm learning about this. So maybe I should have just done a cosmic horror vlog. Because we did 2 cosmic horrors in this video. Love the idea of this one. I can't wait for the second one. I'm definitely going to read the second one. I'm kind of waiting for it to come out on audio because the audiobook was amazing. I would recommend listening to the audio. They have really good narrators and they do like sound effects for the monsters, which are really scary. Very excited about that one. I definitely 3.75. I do think it had the capacity to be a 5, if not 4. It did go a little bit long. I think I could have been okay with the ending if a bit of the middle section had been cut down, because it just kind of kept going. Like, we got to the eerie part and then stuff just like kept happening, and I was like, okay, like we're drawing this out a little bit too much. So I do think if about 50 to 75 pages had been cut out of the book, I think I would have given it at least a 4, if not higher. So I would highly recommend it though. Like, it was a fantastic horror book. I listened to it almost in one sitting. I almost did, but because I listened to it all yesterday, but I didn't get to finish it last night. So really, if I hadn't been busy last night, I would have read the whole thing. The other update I have for you guys is I am about 75% into the Taurus season. It's fine. It's fine. I think I like I like the characters better in here. I think that's the weird thing. I think the writing is better and I think the characters are better, but I think the dynamic between the two characters was better in Butcher and Blackbird. Like, I like all the individual elements of this book better, but put everything together, I don't like it as much as Butcher and Blackbird, which I think is a really weird thing to say, but I think it really has to mainly do with the chemistry between the characters. I like the plot of this one a lot better though, but I am a little bored. I do think the middle of this book gets a little bit lost and it's not sure what it's trying to do. I do think there could have been a lot more murder and mayhem throughout this book. I don't think there actually was enough. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of the romance between the two main characters. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like the chemistry there. So that is hindering my enjoyment somewhat of the book. The sex scenes are awful. They're just as cringy as Butcher and Blackbird. That's just what it is. They just are. I was expecting that though. So that's not really hurting the book any. I'm right now, if the book ends about like how I'm feeling about it right now, it'll probably be about a 3.5. So I'm kind of hoping the ending picks up a little bit, because right now I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's fine. It's a fine book. It's just dragging a lot. So I got this from the publisher. I did not request this. I feel like maybe I accidentally requested it. There's no way. This is number 61 in a series. I don't read JD Robb. I'm gonna try the series, but like, very strange. Very, very strange. I don't think I requested this, but it was like, thank you for requesting it. And I was like, I don't think I requested this. So I'm wondering if they're running some sort of campaign or something. So they sent these out to a lot of people, but I was very like confused and shocked when I got it, because I was like, this is not what I would request. But I don't know, we might try the first book in the series at some point just to see what JD Robb's writing is like, because it is like a crime thriller thing, so why not try it? So that's the update. I'm gonna go finish Taurus season tonight. I also need to edit some stuff tonight. I need to edit this vlog and I need to edit the unboxing, so we do have a couple more days. So now this video is actually probably going through the weekend. I think I'll probably still end it like Sunday, just so I can move over to reading Fairy Loot stuff, like just Fairy Loot stuff, so I can get working on that vlog. So not really that much of an extension, but I will at least finish Taurus season for this video. Otherwise, I don't know, we might just end it after Taurus season. We'll see how I'm feeling about it. But anyway, that's the update. Let's go finish Taurus season. Hopefully I love the end. I have decided to wrap up this mood reading vlog with finishing Taurus season. It is Friday night. I do think it's going to be nice to just stop here, end on a good vibe, move on to some more scheduled things that I'm trying to do, because I have so many projects that I'm working on, and I'm actually going to go through them with you guys so you get a little sneak peek if you stuck around for this whole video. So Taurus season, I am going to give it a 3.5. So it's generally how I ended up feeling about Butcher and Blackbird. I do think Butcher and Blackbird is an overall more entertaining story, which is why it's like, I think I gave Butcher and Blackbird a 3.75, so it's like barely edged it out. Like I said before, I do think the writing is better in this. I think you can see a growth in writing significantly. Like Butcher and Blackbird to me was almost unreadable. This is good writing. I enjoyed this. I do think there is something lacking in the chemistry of this book. I do think, I don't know, I think this is a really interesting one, because I do think it sets up for the rest of the series really, really well. I didn't know that I think the second one is going to be following the same characters. Like, I'm like pretty sure, because of how this one ends. I feel like there's no way we follow different characters, but don't quote me on that one. I don't 100% know. If this is following different characters, I will be incredibly disappointed. I think it's called Harvest season. I will be so disappointed if we're following different characters, because this left off on like, it kind of just ends. I think that's the other reason why I gave it a little bit lower rating, because I was thinking 3.75 actually, but it just kind of stops, and it's really strange. Like there's this big moment that happens at the end, and then there's a sex scene, and then something is revealed that I kind of was a little bit suspicious of, and then it just ends, and you're like, oh, this is strange. Like it ends a little weird because it just kind of cuts the book off. What have I read that's like this? I've read something else that was similar to that, where like you thought the book was just gonna keep going, and then the book just ends and you're like, wow, that was very strange. So odd. And again, I wasn't expecting most likely to be following the same characters in the next book, because I was kind of expecting a Butcher and Blackbird situation where every book was going to be following like a different pairing coming to this town. But I kind of like the idea of following the same characters, and I think this book's rating could go up based on my feelings in the next book. If I feel more of a connection between the characters, like if they deepen their relationship, I could actually see something. I wanted a little more emotion. I do think that the romance went from hating each other to having sex to kind of respecting each other to being kind of friends to more sex, and I didn't vibe with that. I would have preferred, I know what type of book this is though. When I'm picking this up, I know it's going to have a decent amount of smut in this book, and I do think that's a detriment to the story. I do think this actually had a good story, but I don't think it had the buildup of a relationship to back up the rest of the plot, and that's what made some of the plot a little bit boring. Also, the streetcar thing, that was a little ridiculous. If you've read this, you know what I'm talking about. That scene was a little ridiculous. Also, the last sex scene with the piercing, that is unhygienic. That is disgusting. I guess he actually used hygienic, but no, it felt very unhygienic. I did not enjoy that. So there were aspects of this also that very much made me cringe a little bit, and that's why I just can't make it any higher. And again, it was similar to Butcher and Blackbird. I just couldn't put it any higher. I was more entertained by Butcher and Blackbird. I do think this is overall a better book though. So I am excited for harvest season. I do hope I like the romance a little bit better. I hope the plot is a little bit more compelling. It did slow down in the middle, so I just want a little bit more from the series, but I get why everybody likes it. But I'm really glad I liked it because it's a gorgeous book. It would have been really sad if I DNF'd this one, but no, I did like it. I will be keeping it. I'm happy to end this video on this. So for once, I'm not going to be going over the stuff that we actually read in this video. I feel like this is the first time I've ever doing it. It's really, really weird. I just read so many things in this video, and some of them were so random because this is a mood reading vlog that I wouldn't remember everything. I'd have to go back and actually like go through and write down everything and be like, oh, this is what I read. And I just like don't feel like that's the vibe of this video. But I think I had a fun time. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it went. If you made it to the end of this video, definitely leave I guess we're ending off on Taurus season, so leave a knife emoji because, you know, murdering and so forth. Otherwise, leave a comment, let me know if you read any of these, if you're in a mood reading vibe. I think I'm definitely going to do a couple more reading vlogs throughout this year. I had a lot of fun doing this, so I would like to do it a couple more times. I think it's rejuvenating my reading a little bit, so now I can move into my projects. Oh yeah, my projects, I totally forgot. Okay. Totally forgot I was going to tell you about these. Okay, so the things that I'm currently working on, I am working on the Fairy Loot Purge. That should be coming out by the end of February. That's what I'm immediately going to work on. I am also working on reading all of my November and December book box books that I plan to DNF 0 of. That is the goal for the video. It's gonna be a lot. So I'm also working on that, but the Fairy Loot Purge, that is taking precedence. I'm kind of going order and precedence. Then I am going to be doing an Allurial Purge, but it's more like an Allurial taste test. It's going to be reading the 5 Allurial books that I have so that I don't get too deep into the subscription and I'm not liking any of the books because it is an expensive subscription. So those are like my 3 main projects, but my other projects that I will be working on randomly just kind of depends when I feel like it. We will be working on another episode of Did I Actually Dislike This? I have a lot that I have pulled from my Goodreads and stuff that I think could work for that series. I also am working on my episode 2 of Shop My Shelves, and that is, I guess I'm not supposed to tell you guys what it is, but it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good, and I have a couple of ideas for that one, but it's very intimidating because of what I picked. So Shop My Shelves will be hopefully coming out March. I skipped ahead a month. Hopefully March is the idea, but we'll see because the November, December book box video is gonna be a lot. So those are kind of the main things that I've been working on, with other things kind of thrown in there. Now that that is out of the way, make sure to subscribe so you miss any future content. Like I said, all the things that we'll be working on. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, and definitely leave a comment down below on whatever you want to talk about. And I will see you guys in the next one.